Yeah, yeah. Shall we?
Yes, wait, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Dear District 79 officials, Division L official, and Division L Director DTM Safesa, area directors, office bearers of Awal Toastmaster Club, and fellow Toastmasters, a warm good evening to all.
Good evening.
I, Ubaydur Rahman Sheikh, welcome you all to the regular meeting number 2 for 2020-21 term of Awal Advanced Toastmasters Club, Division L, District 79, on Monday, 21st September 2020. Virtual meeting at 6:30 p.m. onwards. The agenda has already been circulated, and I hope that it is well received by all of you. Before we move forward, I would like to recite the mission of Toastmaster International. We empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. Dear Toastmasters, we do not discuss matters related to sex, religion, and politics. Before we start this most exciting, amazing, and much awaited session, I would like to request you to switch off your mobile phones or any other electronic gadgets or put them in a silent mode to avoid any distraction during the session. Now, it is my privilege to hand over the lectern to our club president, DTM Sadagopan Natarajan. Please help me welcoming our club president, DTM Sadagopan Natarajan.
Thank you, DTM Ubaid Sheikh. Division L Director, DTM Safia Mohammed. Fellow Toastmasters, youth leaders, ladies and gentlemen, warm good evening to all of you. And welcome to this very special meeting organized by the Division L and supported by the Awal Advanced Toastmaster Club. You all know that today is a very special day, International Peace Day. I pray to God this special day should continue as part of a routine life. Peace is crucial in making a successful society united against suffering. So why we should have a concept only one day to celebrate as a peace day in a year? To go back to that history of this peace day, United Nations in the year 1981 declared September 21st as a World Peace Day. And after 20 years, UN General Assembly is voted to call for non-violence and ceasefire on the World Peace Day. You can imagine it took 20 years to UN General Assembly to accept this and the countries agreed to at least have one day a ceasefire, avoid this violence. For a common man, peace is more about internal peace, peace within the family, with friends and colleagues. For some people, their whole livelihood is uprooted and families are scattered due to civil disturbance, terrorism, war with neighboring countries. They know the real value of peace. This disturbance may be due to political struggle to get power. Some group may want to control others, are greedy to extend their territory, or intolerance. There are many reasons. But this leads many human beings to suffer and they live their lives. COVID-19 pandemic has taught us many lessons. Many countries are struggling and many people are struggling. We need to focus more on humanity, well-being of a human being, to take care of the health and living standards rather than fighting for territorial power. This is what is very important. We need to strive to achieve this peace throughout our life. The theme of the International Peace Day of 2020 is shaping peace together. We need to work together to achieve this. We need to improve our tolerance, be compassionate, kindness, hope in the face of COVID-19 pandemic. Let us remember the great leaders, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, the visionary leaders, in spite of many sufferings, almost impossible to achieve their target at some point of time, but they continued the path of non-violence. Patiently, they went on for continue with this path and achieve their ultimate goal. These are real-time examples. We have seen this. So we need to continue this. It's very important that the lesson what we learned, we should need to follow this. And each and everyone, I'm really happy to see the school students participated in this essay writing or this competition. I'm very happy to see that all are very much involved, deeply involved in this topic about the peace. That shows that how much our next generation is really interested to improve on this, to work on it. And this should continue. It's not just one day talk of peace. It should be there for our day-to-day life. We need to ensure that we are very compassionate, tolerance, improving our tolerance, and support each other. And we learned a lot during this pandemic. We have seen that whatever we not even imagined has happened. Suddenly, some people are not there. I've seen many of my known people. I don't want to get into the negative. But the most important thing is how to improve our living style, the health, and how the countries should spend more on the development rather than on a distraction of going for a weapon. So these are the areas, of course, maybe we are in a very low, not in such a powerful place to talk more about the political related or countries' policies. But as a simple human being, as citizen, we are our right, our responsibility, see that we work on the peace. And we continue to give this message throughout to the next generation to continue with this type of theme that peace should be that continued on a daily basis. And we need to continue to see that we support each other and see that everyone is part of our family members. With this, let me move on to this. We got a lot of leaders lined up to give a wonderful speech about the peace. And today, the meeting will be conducted, coordinated, I can say is a master of ceremony, a tall leader who always ready to support anyone and very passionate. I have seen him supporting when there was a flood in Kerala. He was there on the field. He went around to support a lot of people there. And he is really a very good social worker and spending a lot of time to support our society. A tall leader, divisional director, DTM Safar Mohammed will be the master ceremony of today's meeting. I welcome DTM Safar Mohammed to take over and continue this. Over to DTM Safar Mohammed.
Thank you, Mr. President, for that very elevating introduction. Welcome you all to the Peace Talk on this very special day, the International Peace Day. 2020 with the theme, Shaping Peace Together. Honorable President of Awal Toastmasters Club, to distinguished Toastmasters of the government, our very special speakers for the day, DTM Suresh sir, DTM George sir, DTM NV Arasu sir, Toastmaster KK Raghubudi sir, and Madam Rubab. And club officials, area directors, and our young future leaders. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. I would request all of you to mute themselves so that it would be helpful for us. As you all know, each year, the International Day of Peace is observed around the world on 21st September. as our presiding officer said, the United Nations General Assembly has declared this as a day devoted to strengthening the ideals of peace through observing 24 hours of non-violence and ceasefire. Although that statement brings out a lot of ambiguity amongst us, that means a day devoted for peace. But this year, it has been clearer that we are not each other's enemies. Rather, our common enemy is a tireless virus that threatens our health, security, and very way of life. COVID-19 has thrown our world into turmoil and forcibly reminded us that what happened in one part of the planet can impact each one of us. Coming to the word peace, it means freedom from disturbance, tranquility, etc. But the most prevalent, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, is absence or end of war. So on one level, peace is a negative concept. It cannot exist without war, just as death is a meaningless concept without life. For some, however, true peace is a positive concept, signifying harmony in world affairs or perhaps well-managed social conflict. There are long been a tension between those who regard war as an inevitable and in certain circumstances necessary, righteous, and preferable to an unjust peace, and those who regard war as always and everywhere as an evil that can and should be eradicated. Dear friends, thinkers in the ancient world, from China to Greece or Rome, regarded military might as essential for maintenance of international order. The Chinese general Sun Tzu advised, in peace, prepare for war. In war, prepare for peace. Aristotle noted that we make war that we may live in peace. Ultimately, we use this word in our day-to-day life to greet each other many a times, at times for formality. So here comes a question, is peace related to happiness? Should I aim for happiness or for peace? Actually, it has been said that if it is a choice between the two, aim for peace. Because since aim, the peace would presume happiness. Because happy need not mean that you are peaceful. This evening, we are going to have 5 of the very honored dignitaries from our forum who are going to share their thoughts on a given topic related to peace. Dear viewers, stay tuned. At the end of the speech, all the speeches, the floor will be open for your thoughts and add-ons. So, are you all ready? Suresh sir?
Good evening, Safar.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll start. Okay, so I'll be taking, as I mentioned, our agenda will be, we'll be having 5 speakers and followed by a small session where the guests can add on. And then there will be a special event led by Toastmaster Dr. Shanti Rega, announcement of winners, and they will adjourn. And inshallah, we'll keep up the time. So here we go with our speaker. So I'll be taking 10 minutes to introduce the speaker and allow 1 minute for him to speak. No, I think, no, sorry, the other way around, sorry. In fact, I need 10 minutes each to introduce all our speakers. However, I'm trying my best to compress it. So dear viewers, here comes the first speaker, a mechanical engineer from Andhra University with over 32 years of experience as a maintenance professional in various capacities in India and KSA. He is a certified maintenance and reliability professional from the Society of Maintenance and Reliability Professionals USA. He is a member of NSA, that means National Speakers Association USA. He started his Toastmasters journey in 2002 and achieved DTM award in the year 2009. An award-winning speaker who has represented the Division for International Speech Table Topic Evaluation Contest at district level. Was the district international speech contest finalist more than 3 times. Now let him take a glass of water. Okay, let me continue. 3 winners of the District 79 Table Topic Contest at SATAC 2018. He is an active blogger in the website biology.com, and his work has been published in the Saudi Gazette and Bahrain Tribune. Now you all know why he is called the Shashi Tharoor of Jubail, a man of all seasons and celebrations, an accomplished speaker and the most sought-out mentor for many budding Toastmasters, youth leaders, students, and yours truly. Help me in welcoming very distinguished Toastmaster Suresh Kumar, sharing his thoughts on the topic, poverty is the biggest deterrent to world peace. Poverty is the biggest deterrent to world peace. Very distinguished Toastmaster Suresh Kumar.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Safer Mohammed, for that very elevating introduction and a lot of details and adjectives to me. It's indeed an honor to be a part of this wonderful array of speakers tonight. My dear friends, fellow Toastmasters from the fraternity, Toastmasters from outside the fraternity, and friends and well-wishers from all over the world who joined us on this wonderful platform tonight. Good evening. The greatest and the most despicable forms of deprivation that humankind is faced with is that of poverty. Poverty brings in a sense of helplessness, hopelessness, and vulnerability. It strikes at the self-esteem which burns the hearts of those who suffer from this malady. When people begin to think of and feel of themselves as inferior to some others, it becomes a violation of human rights of the worst kind. This is most certainly a worst state of mind to live in. Massive poverty and extreme inequality are the most terrible scourges of our time. While we see breathtaking pace and strides of progress of science, technology, and the means for wealth creation in modern times, we also see the deplorable situation where the thriving majority have to rancor along those millions who live in abject poverty, deprivation, and disease. As per the latest statistics, 1.7 billion people all over the world remain imprisoned and enslaved in the prison of poverty, where they are unable to afford basic human needs like nutrition, clothing, shelter, fresh water, and healthcare. 1.1 billion children have succumbed to death due to the hunger last year. The prisons of poverty has devoured people's standard of living and scuttled their rights to live with pride and dignity. The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much, but it's whether we provide enough for those who have too little, said Franklin Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Friends, poverty is not natural. It is man-made, and it can be overcome and eradicated by the actions of the human beings. Supporting to eradicate poverty is not a gesture of charity, but a protection of the fundamental right of a human being, the right to dignity and a decent life. How can we fault someone who tend to despise those who live in great luxury while they live in abject penury? It is but a natural human reaction when people see steep levels of difference between the haves and the have-nots, when they do not see reasonable means of being able to change that status. It is but natural that they tend to get desperate and resort to violence as a means to succeed. It's more of a moral issue than an intellectual issue. The more the inequality that prevails in a society, the higher is the risk of disruption and violence. So in that sense, poverty has a direct and tangible bearing on the world peace. So if we need to get the world rid of violence, the world has to take steps towards equitable distribution of wealth as the first step towards eradication of poverty. A global campaign for eradication of poverty has to take its place as a public movement. It is time to set people free from the shackles of poverty. there are three most important steps that the world community has to take towards the common goal of poverty alleviation, in my humble opinion. One, ensure trade justice, where the affluent nations help to create a level playing field rather than being tilted towards the developed countries. Affluent nations should support trade from smaller and economically weaker nations. Affluent and influential nations should be stopped from having undue trade advantage by strict and controlled anti-dumping measures. Number two, end to debt crisis to the poorer countries. Most important is an urgent need for an international mechanism to restructure sovereign debt. The lack of a mechanism represents a severe gap in the international financial architecture. A fair and orderly mechanism could prevent debt crisis by addressing unsustainable debt early, or at least mitigate the damage when a crisis is underway. Number three, aid of the highest quality. Affluent nations should develop a more effective consortium and consortiums to provide multilateral aid to the needy nations. The affluent nations should ease the methods for the poorer nations to obtain aid from the World Bank or the IMF. More such consortiums like the World Bank or the IMFs should be created, which will ensure easier access to quality and timely aid. The world leaders should calibrate their plans and actions towards the world's poorest nations and the poorest people. The G8 and the G16 leaders have a responsibility to target poverty eradication as their first programs. Every step, every action, and every policy should be aimed to benefit the poorest of the poor and the most needy nation or the most needy community. We should rise above our petty differences and look at the world as one community of human beings tied together as humanity. The world is hungry for action. World leaders should act with courage and vision and with a greater sense of purpose towards eradication of this terrible malice, which is threatening to destroy world peace and order. Yes, yes, my dear friends, it falls on a generation to be great. This is our opportunity. And by not doing so, we will be doing nothing short of a crime against humanity. Let us all as humanity rise up to make poverty history. And let us create history where poverty and violence are things of the past. My dear friends, let me leave you with a lovely Sanskrit quote which echoes the ethos of the Indian culture. Sarve jananam sujano bhavantu, sarve sujanam sukhino bhavantu, sarvastra shantirastu. May all the human beings be good human beings. May all the good human beings remain happy and contented at all times. May peace and order prevail in this wonderful world. Thank you. And over to you, DTM Safir.
Thank you so much, DTM Suresh, sir. When people speak more about war and spend on arms, poverty stand unnoticed. And your notes, mashallah, I wish this you could get an opportunity to address this in United Nations so that it could add more value to it. So
I wish I could.
That brings an end to our first speech. So now let's move on to the next speaker. Our next speaker is a gentleman from India. He's practicing a chartered accountant based in Bangalore, India. He heads the firm RKK and Associates, which involved in strategic business planning. And he's offering on-site CFO services to clients across various industry segments. He's a finance professional with over 3 decades of experience as one of the initial members of the finance team at Marafiq, Jubail, Saudi Arabia, where he worked in the capacity of accounting manager and financial planning and control manager from 2003 to 2018. His earlier assignments include senior finance positions in various multinational companies. A keen student of self-help and leadership, KKR is an enthusiastic Toastmaster and takes keen interest in developing children and the youth in honing their leadership and communication skills. Loves cooking and is an impulsive jogging enthusiast. Former member of Peria Toastmasters Club, very eloquent speaker who represented area and division multiple times. Help me in welcoming Krishna Kumar Raghupati, our own KKR. He's going to speak on the topic United Nations Achievements and Challenges.
Good evening. Thank you, DTM Safar, for that highly illustrious introduction. Office bearers of Division L and members of Division L, office bearers of Awal Toastmasters Club and its members, Toastmasters, eminent speakers, dignitaries, and guests. Good evening. I am delighted to be associated with this peace talk conducted by Division L. And, today, all over the world, people are recognizing and celebrating the International Day for Peace. But what I find very unique in this meeting and observance is that Division L has chosen to hear the voice of the next generation. And there is absolutely no doubt that it is the next generation who are going to be the harbingers of peace in the days ahead. So my hearty congratulations to Division L and the organizers of this program. The International Day for Peace started in 1981. The purpose behind this was to encourage nations to desist from conflicts, to desist from war, at least for one day. One day when the bombs don't burst, one day when the guns are silent, one day when the sky is free of jets dropping very destructive bombs. The UN wants nations to enjoy the peace of this one day and thereby build a beautiful, peaceful world as a gift to the future generations. My first brush with the UN was way back in 1970, when I was in school in Staines, Coonoor, Wellington. As we reached school, there was a group of boys and girls attired in some very strange dress. Later, when we went to the class, the principal walked in with 3 boys, fair and tall, but they looked very depressed. Boys and girls, the principal announced, here is Tashi, here is Kalsang, and here is Dorji. And they are going to join your class. Welcome them. So the boys and girls stood up and clapped their hands with joy and smile. But you will not believe this. The 3 boys burst into tears and were sobbing uncontrollably. Later on, we came to know that they were refugees from Tibet. They had to flee from their homes when their neighbor, more powerful, invaded their country. Some of them had lost their brothers, some their sisters, some their parents, and some their homes. Thanks to the United Nations and the government of India, they were given a new lease of life through rehabilitation in our school. This year, the theme of the International Year of Peace is also very special. As DTM Saradagopan has already mentioned, shaping peace together. The word together this year has a very special meaning. In addition to the compelling need for maintaining peace, there is a new elephant in the room, the COVID virus, and that too in pandemic form. 30 million cases have tested positive. We have lost almost 1 million precious lives. And the economic loss is estimated to be over 9 trillion US dollars. The call of the United Nations now is for all these nations to come together, fight this common enemy, and not use this virus, this pandemic, as an excuse for discrimination. The United Nations was chartered in 1945 with 51 members, and today they have 193 members on their rolls. It has grown from strength to strength. It is celebrating its 75th birth anniversary this year. So the question normally crops up, has the UN been effective? Have they achieved their objectives? Well, friends, the answer is a mixed bag of positives and setbacks. Let's look at the positives first. The UN can rightfully claim that it has prevented another world war. It has also prevented a conflict between two superpowers. Rightly so. We know that the Second World War had taken away 85 million lives. So we don't want a reputation. Full marks to the UN. The International Atomic Agency of the UN has controlled commendably the proliferation of nuclear energy and weapons. The UN has deployed 70 peacekeeping forces all across the world to maintain peace. 170 peace accords have been signed. All these have led to an era of peace. There are 240 million children today in this world who stay away from school. The UNICEF and the UNESCO are doing yeoman service in trying to bring these children back into the mainstream of education. Besides, the UN has also done commendable work in women's empowerment, in nutrition, and to a large extent in climate change. So does it mean that everything is honky-dory? No, the answer is no. There are deep fault lines and there are a number of cracks in the entire UN system. Let's examine some of them. Take the case of the Security Council. The Security Council has 5 permanent members: the US, the UK, France, Russia, and China. They call the shots on every decision. They are not representative of the world. People call them the Western Club, excepting China and to a certain extent Russia. The others are all developed Western countries. If you take a population comparison, these 5 members constitute only 2 billion out of the 7 billion of world population. That's about 30% only. And if you leave China aside, which is 1.4 billion, the Security Council permanent members are only 600 million. They represent only that much, which is less than 10%. In terms of GDP, if you take that comparison, they have ignored large economies like India, 3 trillion, Japan, 5.7 trillion, Germany, 4 trillion, Italy, 2 trillion. So the Security Council is highly unrepresentative of the changing world. Further, the veto power that the 5 members have ensures that no logical decision can be taken because one of them is invariably affected. And so therefore, they use their veto power to scuttle any major initiative. Of late, you will also see that nations are drifting apart. Parochialism, protectionism, trade barriers, trade tariffs. Nations have lost their mutual trust, their mutual respect. It is very essential that the various agencies and organs of the United Nations draws these nations together into one, creates an atmosphere of peace and trust, and ensures world peace is sustained. And finally, here is the showstopper. On my last visit to the United Nations head office in New York last year, we were taken on a guided tour. So we were taken to a huge wall with a large chart having 3 bubbles painted on it, a small one, a slightly bigger one, and a large one. The small bubble represented the UN expenditure of 2.3 billion. The slightly larger one represented the peacekeeping expenditure of 6.7 billion. Can you guess what the largest one represented? It represented 1.9 trillion of military expenditure of this world. Imagine the military expenditure of this world is 200 times the peacekeeping expenditure. And once nations spend this much of money, they obviously have got to use the military hardware. And that can be used only in war. And war is destructive, and war takes away precious lives. So therefore, there is a great need for the UN to control through legislation, through international law, and through liaising with all these nations, their military expenditure, and put a cap on this. Because without this, there can never be world peace. Ladies and gentlemen, and dear friends, if we have to avoid the recurrence of the stories of Thupten, Kelsang, and Dorji of the world, if we have to provide clean air and clean water to the millions of people of the world, if we have to provide decent education for the 264 million children who stay away from school, if we have to provide health and medical facilities, there is only the United Nations that can do it. And for it, we have to ensure that the UN becomes stronger and more powerful. The 193 nations who are members have to ensure that they shall abide by international law and give full support to the United Nations. Only then can we say that we are listening to the voices of the next generation. Over to you, DTM Safar.
Thank you, Toastmaster KKR sir. Actually, we are getting a feeling that we are in United Nations General Assembly and listening to the address of the officials. And I wish KKR sir, our United Nations become stronger and powerful with 193 countries having the representative win so that the wish can be fulfilled. Thank you so much, KKR sir. May I take the honor to recognize some of the dignitaries? Our Honorable Dr. Saeed Hamid Saab is with us. Sir, can you acknowledge your presence? Hamid sir? I could see him in the guest list. No problem. And may I acknowledge the presence of distinguished Toastmaster Aziz Ahmad Siddiqui, was past Division E Director. And may I acknowledge the presence of distinguished Toastmaster Abul Qasim as well. Welcome, sirs, to the meeting. So now, let's move on to the third speaker. So our next speaker is very special to us as she is the youngest among our speakers representing the youth. She is passionate about singing, writing, reading, and public speaking. She was District 79 speech champion during SATAC, evaluation speech during SATAC 2016. And she was first and second runner-up for District 79 evaluation table topic contest during SATAC 2019 and 2017 respectively. She received a Triple Crown Award twice, an Outstanding Toastmasters Award. She completed her Bachelor of Sciences Finance with 99.25. And she was top in university. She was CMA top scorer in Saudi Arabia in 2017 and the first visually impaired CMA candidate. She is permanent invitee as a guest moderator speaker to various local international conferences within and beyond Toastmasters. A strong advocate for diversity and inclusion and serve as a global volunteer leader on the Institute of Management of Accountants, Diversity and Inclusion Committee. She aspired to inspire the youth and to empower them to exploit their potential. She is a strong peace activist. Help me in welcoming Toastmaster Rubab Fatima to speak on the topic, Women Empowerment Facilitate World Peace. Women Empowerment Facilitates World Peace, Toastmaster Rubab Fatima.
Thank you so much, sir, for that elating and humbling introduction. The famous Napoleon. Yeah, hello? Am I on?
I request you to restart so that, yeah, now it's clear. Can you restart, please? Rubab, you are muted yourself. Can you unmute and restart?
Okay. Now?
Yeah,
hello?
loud and clear. Loud and clear, you can continue.
Okay, now. All right, thank you. Thank you, sir, for that elating and humbling introduction. The famous Napoleon once said, "Give me good mothers, and I will give you a great nation." A woman is an epitome of grace, compassion, and love. One whose strength and wisdom goes beyond the boundaries of imagination. She is someone who nurtures her family with unconditional and selfless care, and one whose mere presence in our lives fills our inner and outer world with peace, harmony, and joy. Distinguished Toastmasters, guests, children, and most esteemed women, a very good evening and a happy International Day of Peace to one and all. First of all, I would like to salute my mother and all the beautiful women present here just because of being a woman, which itself speaks volumes. As a young woman myself, I feel extremely fortunate and humbled to be able to express my thoughts on the subject of women empowerment and how it facilitates world peace. Because I strongly feel that the words women and peace are synonymous with each other. Now we've heard the phrases women empowerment, gender equality, active participation over and over again. However, we cannot shy away from the reality. According to a report published by the World Economic Forum, gender equality, especially in terms of political empowerment, is still a far-fetched reality, at least for another century. And if that statement is astonishing, then the next statement might surprise you even more. We just heard from the previous speaker, and there's a study which I read that as of today, there are 193 UN member states. And do you know, out of those, how many of them have women in the highest positions of executive powers? Well, only 15, 1-5. Dear Toastmasters, if that has raised your eyebrows, then the next fact will surely make your eyes twinkle with pride. According to various studies published by different organizations such as the World Economic Forum, GPI, etc., which lists the countries in order of the happiness index, in order of being progressive and being the most peaceful countries, you'll be happy to know that at least 5 of the top 10 countries in those lists, including Finland, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, New Zealand, and Austria, have one thing in common, which is all of them have women leaders. A study suggested that having women in peace-building projects will reduce violence by 24%. At the same time, the United Secretary General said that as of now, there are only 4% women who are actively being involved in peace projects. That is indeed a low number. But history has testified again and again that the world needs one Florence Nightingale, one Mother Teresa, and one Margaret Thatcher to make a massive impact, among other such influential women. When we talk about social changes in terms of peace and about women empowerment, one of the many names which immediately flashes our minds is that of the youngest Nobel Peace Laureate, Malala Yousafzai, who so profoundly said, if you want to end war, instead of sending guns, send books. Instead of sending tanks, send pens. And instead of sending soldiers, send teachers. Just as how darkness alone cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Similarly, love, hate cannot be wiped out with hate. Only love can do that. And now, when we talk about age being a barrier, that is also not true. Because many of you might have heard about this teenage climate activist, Greta Thunberg, who in August 2018 was the only one to start this movement. And from 1 to 10 to 100 to thousands, her movement, Fridays for Future, became global. And through her activism and empowerment, she started spreading peace by conserving our climate. It is said that true leadership comes out in the worst of crisis. And what crisis can be worse than this current pandemic? And the way some of the countries have managed the COVID crisis in the best way again have a common thread, which is women leadership. For example, Germany, Norway, Denmark, and New Zealand. Not just that, Taiwan's Tsai Ing-wen's response early measures to coronavirus were declared by the CNN as being one of the finest measures for coronavirus. And the youngest female leader presently, who is the Prime Minister of Finland, Sanna Marin, used social media influencers as an agent to share information about the COVID-19 and was hence able to put the right measures in place at the right time. Dear Toastmasters, talking about peace from a political standpoint, we have dynamic women leaders like Jacinda Ardern, for example, who tackled the Christchurch attack in such a wonderful manner. Pakistan's Benazir Bhutto was the first female who was democratically elected in the Muslim world and was also one among only 7 women to have received the prestigious UN award for her contribution towards human rights. The first female Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, who ruled for 3 consecutive terms, this year was named by Times Magazine as being one of the 100 most powerful women in the last century. And now, talking from a grassroots level, from my personal experience, my mother inculcated the right values in me and helped me shape into a strong, independent, and competent young woman who is empowered to face the world and to contribute in a positive way. Through her experience of being a teacher for over 2 decades, she has empowered thousands of children to contribute through education and women empowerment in whatever fields they can, be it being a homemaker or contributing as a community helper or in the corporate world. Empowering women has a massive positive effect on all facets of peace, be it education, sustainable social and economic development, human rights, democracy, or advocacy, tolerance, and understanding from our family all the way up to the country and global level. A strong woman is someone who builds a strong foundation from the bricks thrown at her. Instead of using bricks to build walls, let us instead build bridges. Let us together overcome entrenched prejudice, support empowerment, engagement, activism, and gender equality, and smash the glass ceiling. As the UN campaign, He for She, let us walk together and with each other and let us integrate diversity, inclusion, and equity into the very fragment of our society. And let us together embrace nothing but peace, harmony, and love. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rubab. You inspired not only women, but all the youth and us. Thank you so much. So let's move on to the next speaker. Once again, I would request all of you to mute themselves. So our next speaker, fourth speaker, is serving as assistant professor at Royal Commission, Jubail University College for the past 24 years. He is senior most in the group and he holds grandfather status as well. A motivational speaker and wonderful workshop presenter, mentor and professional trainer, and a short story writer. By the way, he's staying alone, so that motivates him more. He's 2019 SATAC Humorous Speech Champion. His hobbies: reading, writing, public speaking, listening to music, housekeeping, and cooking. However, be brave enough to accept his dinner invitation. His philosophy of life: do unto others what you would have others to do unto you. He's passionate about serving the community as far as possible in his own capacity. He is our walking dictionary of English language. Help me in welcoming a very distinguished Toastmaster, Dr. Rose Joseph George. Now we are going to listen to an educationalist speaking on the topic education, the weapon to change the world. Education, the weapon to change the world. Distinguished Toastmaster, Dr. R.J. George. Welcome, sir, all yours.
Thank you so much, DTM Zafar Mohammed, for those hyperbolic compliments. Thank you so much once again. Friends, fellow Toastmasters, dignitaries, dear children, and all those others involved in this wonderful program. Good evening to all of you. This statement was made by Nelson Mandela, who is no more with us now. The context was South Africa, the sub-Saharan countries, Southeast Asian countries were grappling with problems like gender discrimination, ethnic cleansing, poverty, illiteracy, unemployment, and a host of other problems. And these problems defied all kinds of solutions. In that particular context, Nelson Mandela made a bold statement. Education is the only solution, weapon, to defang all these evil forces. He made a wonderful statement. Now, in this brief discussion or talk, I would like to just present to you this particular topic in three phases. Phase one, the current education. Phase two, whether or not the current education helps us serve the real purpose of education. And the third phase is how education should be. What are the missing links in the process of acquiring education? These are the three phases I would like to highlight and focus on today, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready? Well, now let me just explain to you very briefly how education helps us bring about a big transformation, a big change. A couple of years ago, an animal rights activist and his team visited a group of children. They were at a restaurant in the middle of a meal, eating chicken hamburgers. The purpose of this activist was to motivate the children to get meat eating. And what did he do first? He quoted the words of George Bernard Shaw. He said, children, we are all the living graves of murdered animals. And they were shocked, and they had a bite of this burger, and they listened. And then something unexpected happened. He played a little video clip showing them a grisly, heart-wrenching scene. Little adorable chicks were shown to them. All of a sudden, the chicks lost their beaks. The butchers just cut off the sharp edges of their beaks. And immediately after that, some of the chicks were taken off. These butchers had their heads cut off, leaving them bleeding to death. They were fluttering about, running about before they breathed their last. It was a heart-wrenching scene, horrifying scene. And then he asked the kids, now tell me, what exactly did you witness? They all said in one voice, a horrible, a heinous act of crime, a murder. And he said then, in order for you to be able to enjoy this wonderful meal, all these innocent chicks have to be murdered. Would you still like to eat these chicks? They all said no. Immediately the reaction was they dislodged whatever they had in their mouths onto the plates kept in front of them on the table. That's the power of education. Education helps us to bring about tremendous transformation, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's take a quick look at the education that we have today. What is education at the end of the day? Education is the process that enables us to achieve literacy, computer literacy, numerical literacy, the ability to read, write, etc. We also believe that it helps us to eliminate ignorance. It helps us to bring in the light of knowledge and wisdom. All right? We all accept that. Probably 60 years ago, there was a great philosopher and researcher on education, came up with a wonderful idea. Bloom's taxonomy. Mr. Benjamin Bloom came up with a set of skills that everybody has to acquire before claiming to be educated. He said, we usually start with the remembering things without knowing what we are remembering. Then we need to just move on to the next step. That's called understanding what we try to remember. Right after that, we move on to the next step. We try to apply whatever we have learned and understood. Then we move on to the next step. We begin to analyze in detail. Then the next step is to evaluate things. Then the final step is to create. Then he says, you have acquired all the skills. Now you are employable. You are empowered. You have acquired a strong weapon. Then what does this weapon help us to achieve? A job, an outcome, educational accomplishments, and so on and so forth? This question frequently arises. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, these skills learned properly enable us to find lucrative jobs. These skills enable us to achieve academic accomplishments. These skills enable us to kickstart a race called rat race. We race against time. We run around. We try to center everything in ourselves. We end up being selfish. We become partially or fully blind to others. Whether or not they need something from you, that's none of our concern. All we need is a job, a better social station, enhanced personalities, popularity, and so on. We are prepared to do any damn thing in order to be able to have all those things. Success, we run after success. Success proves to be elusive to some people. Success comes in handy to many more people. And this success is nothing but material success. Material success, that's the end, that's the outcome of modern education. So the missing link, what's the missing link? Therefore, if education really helps us to achieve world peace, Why hasn't it helped us to achieve world peace today? Nations around the world are almost on the brink of nuclear wars. No country lives in peace, and people and their passions are whipped up by rhetorics across the globe, and no one is perfectly at peace. Every country seems to be at war with another country due to geopolitical reasons, due to their own policies, and so on and so forth. Therefore, the weapon that we thought would bring about peace hasn't really helped us to achieve peace. So, where is the missing link? We need to figure out the missing link. There are every day, every minute, there is a cybercrime reporter across the globe. Every minute, there is a heinous crime committed in the name of education or by the so-called educated people. So there is something missing. So my advocacy of education, education can be redefined as modification of character. Character is very important. That's the foundation. That's the foundation to achieve peace individually, in a family, in a community, in a neighborhood, in a nation, and at large across the world. That character is possible only when we achieve a pleasant personality. Our hearts need to be trained. We should develop emotional intelligence. We should develop some of the divine qualities, including compassion, kindness, and warmth. Are we able to do? Does education really enable us, help us to cultivate, to develop, to practice, to demonstrate these wonderful divine qualities? The answer is in the negative more often than not. Therefore, my humble recommendation to the world around, to the educational institutions around, to give equal emphasis, to give equal importance to these divine qualities. How is it possible? When we develop design curriculum, all we need to do is to make sure that this curriculum provides adequate scope for including these qualities. How is it possible? The great epics, the great stories, moral lessons, and many more means of education should be integrated into curriculum. It should not only be integrated, but also demonstrated. If you just look at the example of Finland, where children are taught to practice, demonstrate these divine qualities in their daily lives. They are told to sit together, share a meal, talk among themselves. Well, they are told not to be blind to someone who is in distress. They should always be prepared to lend a helping hand to someone in need of help. This is how they educate their, as a result, there is hardly anybody thinking about war. And they don't have a standing army guarding their borders. They don't just cross the borders in order to grab land or in order to grab people or in order to kidnap people and so on. Nothing happens. If you look at the cybercrime in Finland, it's an all-time low. It's an all-time low. Ladies and gentlemen, education should serve the purpose. If you want to train people in compassion, in kindness, in emotional intelligence, use education as a weapon. Education is very, very important. It, in fact, helps us to take informed decisions. You know, it helps us to distinguish between a snake oil salesman, a snake oil salesman, and a really serious, true brand ambassador. So we are able to distinguish. Only when we are trained to be compassionate, we are able to be very intuitive. We are able to distinguish between the good and bad. This kind of education should be introduced. In the UK, students training to be doctors, paramedics, etc., have to study Shakespeare and Shelley. Did you know that? They have to compulsorily go through a phase called literary phase. They have to sit together, they have to research, they have to read lots of poetry and fiction in order for them to develop this compassion, this kindness, this emotional intelligence. Their hearts are being trained as powerfully as their minds are. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, this kind of curriculum, this kind of course design should get into our education. Then only we call this education holistic education, healthy education. This can easily be called the weapon to bring about peace, to bring about a great transformation that the world is badly in need of. This is called universal education. We all should have, people across the globe, regardless of gender, social background, community, should have access to this universal education. Therefore, it all begins with trained hearts that contribute to character and pleasant personalities. So I would like to conclude my short speech on the quote shared with us by our past president, former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, is that when there is beauty in the character, there is harmony in the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. So, what is the first step, ladies and gentlemen? The first step is character. The education for us to be used as a weapon, it should enable us to achieve this character. If we achieve this character at individual level, certainly it's possible for us to achieve at a group level, community level, national level, international level. So let's focus on the microscopic level. Let's focus on the family level, individual level. If I develop, if I cultivate pleasant character, my friends will also. If I cultivate a pleasant personality, I have the moral right, the moral high grounds in order to inspire and motivate my friends and fellow human beings to develop the same. If I don't have this character, if my character is flawed and full of blemishes, I have no more moral right to inspire or motivate other people, then I will be called once again a slick snake oil salesman. I talk, I seldom walk my talk. Let's all walk our talk. Try to contribute to world peace by developing personal character more than anything else. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to develop that kind of education? I wish you all the very best. And more than that, I wish you a wonderful, happy International Peace Day. Thank you so much. DTM Safar Muhammad.
Thank you so much, Dr. George, sir. The right person for the right topic. I mean, enlightening us with the value of education and making it as a weapon to enforce peace. Thank you so much, Dr. George, sir. So now coming to the last speaker, but not the least.
Yeah.
Okay, so our fifth speaker tonight is a soft-spoken Toastmaster serving the forum since 2 decades. A double graduate in math and instrumentation engineering, math from Loyola College, Chennai, and instrumentation engineering from MIT Madras. He loved reading, listening to music, and indulges in gardening and practice yoga meditation. He keeps saying life is a very precious gift. So love your life and start loving all. He is very emotional and comes up with different ideas. And one such idea is today's Peace Talk. He wanted each one of us to step out of our comfort zone and ask us to take that first step, a small step with a big heart in creating a pathway for promoting peace. Here we have today very distinguished Toastmaster N.V. Arasu to talk about world peace begins from one's heart and mind. World peace begins from one's heart and mind. Very distinguished Toastmaster N.V. Arasu, sir.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Safar Muhammad, for that uplifting, wonderful introduction of mine. I see lots of faces, and I see 149 is our current score. I'm glad. friendly Toastmasters, my dear, dear little children, esteemed guests, a very warm good evening to all of you. I'm extremely delighted. I'm very, very happy to connect with you all heartfully on this occasion of celebrating International Day of Peace. I'm glad to see many of you smiling and some of you showing surprises in your face. Probably the invitation shows very young, charming, professional. Whereas in reality, when you see somebody who is different from the invitation, isn't it? Cool down, control your thoughts. I am the same. You must know reality is completely different and it's always different too. For a change, I decided to give up something. You got to face the change. Peace is no exception. Everything appears great on paper, but the stark reality is very different and it makes one really very, very uncomfortable. I'm here to show you some slides. Let's first see where we stand today, where we are today, and we will discover where we need to go for. Toastmaster Safir, could you please put up the slides? Next one. 75 years ago, the people who formed the United Nations determined to save the succeeding generations from the scourge of war, from the curse of war. But what's happening now? We have witnessed tens of wars. Some are still ongoing. Across the world, we are seeing many refugee camps flooded with people. They're looking for a miracle, whether something will happen in my life, whether any changes will happen to lead a very decent life. Human rights is missing, justice and respect are missing, social progress and better standards of life is evading for many. Can we go to the next? I just want to take you through the global inventory of nuclear warheads. What you are seeing is the 2020 estimated inventory position. It's stated about 13,000.
There is a problem with the audio.
Arasu sir, can you hear me?
So I think you are having a problem with your network.
We'll wait for a second.
DTM Suresh will be joining shortly. His internet having problem will come through data. Just wait for a few minutes. Yes, he's joining. Just wait for 2-3 minutes. He's joining.
Meanwhile, Sayyid Hamid sir, maybe if he could join us to share a few thoughts.
I believe DTM Safir, he's back. Arso is back. So please.
Absa sir, welcome back.
I think yes, unmute.
Yeah. Am I audible? Am I
Yes.
audible?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Absa sir.
Fine,
Loud and
fine.
clear.
Go ahead.
Please
Please
continue.
go ahead.
Look at the 2020 global inventory positions of the nuclear warhead. Massive 13,500 warheads parked in ready to launch condition. And if you see the statistics, Russia and United States own a lot. Can we move to the next slide, sir? Look at the position of India and Pakistan and also China. See the total numbers. It's in fact alarming. And as per the historical study and also by scientists, it is stated if one person clicks by mistake a nuclear warhead and if another person retaliates, out of the 7.5 billion population,
Sorry, dear audience, for the inconvenience caused. So please stay tuned.
I think it's unmute பண்ணிட்டு பேசுங்க. Safa is joining. I think yes, unmuted. Now it's come. Yes.
okay, I'm troubled with technology, but still I'm not going to lose my peace. My inner is better than the previous past, its history. Now comes the bitter part. Can you put up the next slide, please? You can put the slides. My face can be seen later. Yeah. See, can you go back to the previous one where the military expenditures are there? Yeah. Can you forward it now? Advance, please. Next. See, when the first Hiroshima bomb was dropped, the power was only 15,000. You have changed the slide. Kindly shift it, please. Go back. The power of the first atomic bomb was only 15,000 tons TNT, but now it's alarming that the bombs that people hold are 500 multiples of Hiroshima-sized bombs. And look at the comment that is made by the brilliant past president of America, Ronald Reagan. A great many reputable scientists are telling us that such a war could just end up in no victory for anyone because we would wipe out the entire earth as we know it. This is what is my major concern, and this is why I was just behind you, Mr. Safir, for initiating this peace talk itself. Can you advance the next slide? The other one is Michael Gorbachev, anyway. top spending on nations, if you really look at it, we have already stated, the second speaker, Raghupati, talked about the 1.91 trillion flowing towards the military expenditure of the nations. Look at who are all there in the list. US tops the list. I never ever wanted to see my country's name in the top 5. Unfortunately, it is in the top 5 slot. And this is not good for the globe, in my opinion. There is a strong belief that survival of the fittest and the strongest only can hold peace in the nation. I beg to differ from that ideology itself. And it's very, very alarming that this kind of expenditure towards hardware, military hardware, could have been diverted to fantastic and fabulous economic development. Can we move for the next one? Look at the UN peacekeeping, how and what's happening here. 7.23 billion only is being spent on UN peacekeeping. What you saw earlier was $1,900 billion. Only 0.5% for peace. Is this what we are respecting the UN? Are we not ashamed? When the whole pandemic was going on, two major nations, China and India, are having a border problem. Is this a time to, in fact, the leaders of the nations should not have even thought about it? How could this happen in 2020 with 193 members? Field staff of UN peacekeeping is 120,000. I really wish no country's borders is maintained by them, but by UN peacekeeping force. In fact, we can just multiply the number of staff, field position staff, by 3-fold or 10-fold, leaving apart the respective nation to guard their own fences. I feel that should happen in the coming days or years. Structural reformation is required at the UN. The great voices of India and Brazil are not being heard despite becoming trillion-dollar economy and with a lot of population already cited by Toastmaster Raghupati. We need to expand the Security Council and abolish the complete vetoing rights of all the nations. More than stopping the UN, is this what we are here for? We all were preached since 1980s in our business schools, globalization. Now, since 2014, all the marketing books are being rewritten, and then the management books are being rewritten. Globalization is disappearing from our management textbooks. You know why? Localization, racialism is on the rise. This is definitely not good for the progress of the globe. Now, coming back, I want to tell you why this is introduced. This peace talk is introduced in Toastmasters. We Toastmasters are really, really very glad to join the hands of United Nations and to stand up for peace and celebrate International Day of Peace with United Nations. It is said that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Today, we are taking our first step. This event will go down in the history of Toastmasters fraternity, a journey towards peace building. We truly believe together we can make this world a better place. Let's move together towards tomorrow. Toastmasters have been enabling, the organization is enabling its members to speak without offending. We really want to make sure everyone is hearing and no one is getting hurt while we communicate. That is what when we say speak without offending. To listen without defending, when we want to make sure that everyone is heard and there are no circuit breakers coming in between the communication. And to live without disrespecting. This is the highest priority. Ours is a mutually supportive environment built on trust. We make sure that nothing comes in between. No religion, sex, politics can detach from one another. This practice is on with this organization for the last 100+ years. Over the years, Toastmasters have created millions of peace ambassadors across the globe. Peace is still elusive and evading. World never had the opportunity to use our leadership, probably because none of the Toastmasters are neither near the political heroes or the power corridors of today, nor leading any high offices in the United Nations. I urge all the youth leaders to vie for such positions in future. But whatever that may come across in our path, we shall not go back. Let nothing can deter us from what we can improve. Coming back to our own mind, our mind is a beautiful, lovely garden. Our thoughts are the seeds that we sow. We can grow flowers effortlessly if we fill our heart with love and compassion and kindness. But in place of that, if we let anger and gossip fill our minds, then we can only imagine if a child is exposed to too much of negative emotions like stress from poverty, abuse from elders, social injustice, by way of denials, lack of education, lack of expect from such a child, he or she is bound. Nelson Mandela, a world-renowned non-violent peacemaker, has made it very clear in a simple injustice and gross inequality. Take it rest. Today's portable gadget, they are the thought pollution. The technology is troubling us really. Mark Twain once said, "A lie can travel halfway around the world when the truth is putting on the shoes." What a sad thing to do. WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram are proving the words of Mark Twain. People have become so smart, they are able to create a fake post so close that we are often misled from the truth. Many say we live in information age. I say we live in cyber age. We have zero value information flowing around the globe all the time. Often it is being forwarded and circulated without any sense. Sooner or later, you need to decide on your Netflix, Amazon Prime, and all other channels. All the sites are constantly monitoring us. Remember, they are constantly monitoring us. Every search of yours is being tracked. You are bombarded with where you left last time. You will be notified with what you have searched. Whether you like it or not, you will be fed with whatever you have been watching. You never asked for when the price drops, inform me. Amazon will come to your door. Extra will notify you that you are watching for a 65-inch TV. While you are browsing, be alertful. These days, you are being alerted very frequently that it's really, really annoying. Yesterday's social animals are today's socially distanced slaves of technology. Your peace is in your palm. Right now, my peace in my palm, you see. If you want to remain peaceful, decide carefully on your screen time to maintain harmony, with your family members, friends, to the community. Stop watching things that really disturb your inner peace. Believe it or not, believe it or not, for the last 20 years, all put together, I have watched not more than 10 hours of news in the channels. I have never found a news channel entertaining, number one. Second, it doesn't give me any happy chemicals. Third, it's often you live with a high BP scenario because it is highly distressing. For bringing down the violence, to see less violence in our community, nations must focus on working towards ensuring basic bare minimum needs for a decent living. Look at the UN Sustainable Development Goals chart. No poverty and zero hunger. Let's take only these two. Isn't it possible? $1,900 billion are being pumped towards military expenditure. Half of it, just half of it, or 1/4 of it, if it is directed towards addressing poverty issues and hunger issues, every child of this universe can go to bed without hunger. Forget about other things. Meet your happy chemicals. Only this is very much essential to maintain your inner peace. Inner peace, says Dalai Lama. I want to tell you, don't think that inner peace has something to do with saints and monks. Don't think that inner peace has something to do with saints and monks only. If you think so, please listen to Dr. Kamlesh Patel, the head of Heartfulness Institute, who says, learn to love all. Learn to love all in pursuit of materialistic pursuit. Never lose sight of inner peace. Never lose sight of inner peace. Inculcate and maintain a spiritual life. You need to run a balanced life. When I say balanced life, don't weaken your materialistic balance. Materialism is very much required, not at the cost of your spiritual side. So both has to be balanced. Yoga keeps you physically fit. Meditation keeps you mentally alert. Your world peace is in your hand. World peace is possible only if every one of us at peace. Just imagine, take the history, all the historical records, every war
Samira सो गए ना
has happened. One individual transfer benefits his family, his country, and it is going into the globe. So make sure that individual peace is the need of the hour. I truly believe love all, hurt none is the need of the hour. Now, I would like to state and end my conclusion with I have a dream where you and I live in a world free of nuclear arsenals. I have a dream where you and I can live without fear, not only in my motherland, but also in a foreign land that we see on the world map. I have a dream where you and I will never become a refugee at any point of time in life. I have a dream where United Nations peacekeeping force, a truly multinational, a truly multiracial team, empowered to secure the border of our each nation. I have a dream to see that your nation and my nation drastically reduces the defense budget and focuses on education, healthcare, and other issues which impact humanity. I have a dream where global leaders respect the persisting differences, come together, stand united to resolve any conflicts of importance. I have a dream that no one goes to bed starving. Let's aim to make poverty a history. I have a dream that women are respected and treated fairly, that there shall be no gender inequality. I have a dream to witness a strong UN. When I say strong UN, with the expanded Security Council, with all issues getting resolved only through diplomatic and democratic process, where no member can veto. I have a dream to witness that family as a social institution bounces back powerfully, even if social distancing continues. Let our heart and mind mend all the relations of love. With love forever. The very first lesson a child learns from recognizing the importance of mother's love and compassion. There is another group says,
Arasu sir, okay. Thank you, Arasu sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Arasu sir. So all these speakers made this day memorable for all of us. And these speeches were not for entertainment. It was for thought-provoking, to make something, to add some fuel to your thoughts. So now let's move on since we are a bit late. We have our very honorable Saidamit sir joining us to share a few thoughts. Hamid sir, can you switch on your video?
Yeah, good evening. My video has some problem, Mr. Safer. I'm really sorry. It says video is not detected. So I think I am audible and I can only speak to you if you permit me.
Please, please.
Yeah, wonderful division L Toastmasters. What a great topic on a very appropriate context. You have given us such a high order of intellectually stimulating thoughts. I'm very lucky to join, and I thank Safar and also my student Suresh for having invited me to be with you. I feel that I'm still a part of Juvail. I could have folded my hands, also, sir, but I am unable to switch on. I am able to see my students also, and I was eager to open this video part, but it is bothering me. But my voice is clear, I think. If it is, yeah, thank you. Listening to DTM Sadgopan, DTM Suresh, Raghupati Saab, and Rubab Fatima, I didn't have kind of, acquaintance, or I didn't hear your presentations, your speeches earlier, but it was wonderful. And Dr. George, as usual, and final kind of masterpiece, Arsuji, with all such facts, and how we are going to keep this or make this world really peace-loving. I was just going through, yeah, I can see now Shanti Rekha Madam. Shanti also means peace. I was just going through a very heart-touching or causing that emotion which cannot be expressed between Dr. APJ Kalam and Field Marshal Manekshaw. I would like to share this because afterwards the author says peace prevailed. There was tranquility all around. When Dr. APJ Kalam was passing through a place called, I think it is in Tamil Nadu, somebody told him that Field Marshal Manekshaw ji is in hospital bed and he is not well, he is critically ill. Then immediately, he was president at that time, he was holding office. Then he said, I want to see. But the protocols have to be maintained. They immediately communicated to the hospital authorities, and President of India went there, spoke to Field Marshal Manekshaw, and while leaving, he asked him one question. Field Marshal Manekshaw, do you have any grievance, any complaint of anything, including the hospital service facilities, or anything that you would like to communicate to me? I am the President of India, with a smile. Then Manekshaw tried to sit on his bed. He was not able to. Then he said, I have a complaint to make. You are the chief of all the forces of India, Army, Navy, Air Force. And I am not able to stand and salute you, sir. Then immediately President of India, Dr. APJ Kalam, holding his both hands, started shedding tears. Tears rolled down from his eyes and both started crying. An Army General, Field Marshal, and the other side, the chief of all the forces, Army, Navy, Air Force. And they said that the whole hospital, the military hospital, remained silent for some time. This emotion, this love and affection of two intellectually gifted people we had, I was moved and I thought of sharing with Suresh first, and I wanted to enjoy his speech first. So nice. God bless the Division L Toastmasters for organizing such a program. And what a lucky person I am, able to meet my students. They are showing their love by writing on the chart that we love you, sir. Good evening, sir. You come here, sir. And come on, dear children, don't make me emotional. Now I am grandfather and growing old, and I can love you, still continue to love you as my grandchildren. I once again thank Dr. George, Rasu Saab, DTM, Sadgopalan Saab, of course, my own student Suresh, uh, and a multifaceted Raghupati Saab. Rubab Fatima madam, I have not heard earlier, but still I congratulate you for that excellent speech. It was not only just the excellent presentations by all these speakers, but also thought-provoking. All these speeches should be compiled and they should be available to people like me to share with my present students. Still, I am helping the student community here in Hyderabad and also the teachers community. Thank you so much, Safer Saab, for inviting me and giving me this very valuable time. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you, Hamid Saab. In 1 minute, Suresh sir, I think you are the best person to reply to this. In 1 minute, can you reply, being the student to a teacher?
Thank you very much, DTM Safar. I was really looking forward to this opportunity. Amit sir, it's such an honor to have you, and like you have always been there to encourage me as I was in the contest, and today you're there again today to encourage me. And I can see the messages from your students. I feel one among those small little kids who are saying, "We love you, sir. We miss you, sir." I share and echo their sentiments. We love you, sir. We miss you, sir. It's not just your students, but all the members of this Jubail community, Indian community. We miss you terribly, sir. And your departure from Jubail is indeed a loss, not just for the school, but for all of us in Toastmasters and for the Indian community in Jubail. We always look forward to at least this pandemic and this global, this virtual media has helped us to connect with you. At least this is a good opportunity. And this is a rare opportunity to have you with us. And as a speaker, I'm indeed honored. And it's a blessing to be able to speak and to be heard by a teacher whom I hold in such great esteem. Thank you very much for being with me, sir, and being there for me at all times. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you, DTM, for this affair, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Suresh sir. And quickly, 1 minute for Dr. Shanti Rega. Madam, just a 1 minute answer or reply to Saeed Amit sir.
Thanks a lot, Safer sir, for giving this opportunity. Literally, I'm looking forward as Suresh sir, because to work with under Dr. Syed Amit, it was like a boon and a dream. Like it was a beautiful dream, and still we cherish. And sir, really we miss you. We miss you. We miss your speeches. We miss your encouraging words. We miss your words of wisdom. Everything in each and every aspect, in each and every walk of our life, we are missing you, sir. Really, I feel once again you should come back and join us, and that's going to be a great thing for all of us, not only for students community, even for Toastmasters, for each and every individual of Jubail community. We miss you, sir. Thank you.
Really honored, Shanti.
Thank you, Dr. Shanti, and thank you, Saeed Ahmed sir. Thank you so much. We'll move ahead. We would like to hear from our Aziz Ahmad Siddiqui Saab. He's with us, our past Division E Director. Aziz Ahmad Saab, can you share your thoughts? We are a bit late, but inshallah on this peace day. Aziz Siddiqui Saab, I made you co-host. Can you unmute? Aziz Saab?
1 minute.
Yeah, please.
Yes. I'm audible?
Yes, Aziz Saab.
Thank you very much, DTM Sapphire, Division L Director and the host. And welcome and Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good evening all the participants and all the lovely audience. First of all, thank you very much, Awal Toastmaster Club President and team for choosing such an apt occasion for this function. My personal feeling goes that, Alhamdulillah, I am almost like 55 years, and I remember people talking on peace right from my childhood days. Those time it was a fashion, like talking on peace. But now it is need of the hour. The things have gone so bad all around the world, and even in our personal life, everyone is suffering from this issue. So as rightly said, all the speaker, and they come up with all the ideas, and one of the very big message has come that we all need to start practicing peace in our own life. And inshallah ta'ala, we all will do. And little small humble effort from Division L and Awal Toastmaster Club, I'm sure all the participants, at least in this program, will take an oath that today we will take a big message from all the speakers, from their valuable guidance, and we will practice peace in our personal life, in our surroundings, and that will make all around the things safe and peace, and enjoy an enjoyable life. So thank you very much, DTM Sapphire, for giving this opportunity, sharing, and really, it is one of the, you can say, presentation from COVID. COVID has given this opportunity that we are coming up with such innovative idea and sharing this thought. Thank you very much. Over to you, DTM Sapphire.
Thank you, Aziz Sahab. Now may I request distinguished Toastmaster Abul Qasim to share his thoughts. Hello, DTM Abul Qasim. May I request Area Director Nadraj Babu.
Division
Yes.
L. Yes.
Yes, Abul Qasim. Abul Qasim sir, we are not able to hear you. There is some problem with your audio, I guess. Hello. Okay, we'll come back to you later, I think. Now let's move on. Let's move on to the next segment. It's a special event. And to conduct this segment, we have a very special person. And again, I need 30 minutes to read her profile, and I can hardly give 5 minutes for her to conduct this program. So she's a science graduate in biochemistry, followed by diploma in health psychology, then postgraduate diploma in guidance and counseling, and postgraduate industrial psychology and clinical psychology, and finally doctorate in psychology. And she is IELTS score holder of 6.5 and a neuro-linguistic practitioner. I admire this lady for her willingness to support the society at any point of time. And if you ask me in one word, what is the name of that person? It's just Shanti Rega. Distinguished person, Dr. Shanti Rega. Madam, all yours, please.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for such a wonderful words, Sapphire sir. Division L Director, DTM Sapphire sir, President of Alawal Club, DTM Sadagopan sir, District Toastmasters, delegate officials of District, Division, Area, Club, eminent guests, valued parents, and ambassadors of speech, our students. Assalamu alaikum, good evening. A very warm welcome to one and all present here today for the second and exciting segment of this noble cause occasion. It is me, Dr. Shanti Rega, here, host for this segment. Once John Kennedy said that peace is a daily, is a weekly, is a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, quietly building new structures. Each year, people around the globe observe the International Day of Peace on 21st September. This day was originally established in 1981 by the United Nations General Assembly. This day is aimed to let men commit to peace above all the differences and the variations. Additional to contribute to building land of humanity, harmony, acceptance, and love for the fellow human beings. So we are all gathered virtually to proffer our commitment, our contribution in this kind act. As the theme for this year is Shaping Peace Together, taking the theme into account, we had a captivating talk show by great leaders. Division L holds the belief and recognize that even youth leaders have a stake in shaping behavior. Therefore, we have students who invoke peace. We had called for video recording from students from class 5 to class 12. As ambassadors, they have laid the foundation necessary to build those bridges and transform the world as we know it today into what it can be tomorrow. Peace, only peace. The students did an astounding job. The fascinating speeches were mind-blowing. I take this opportunity to congratulate dear students for your significant contributions towards mankind by voicing your thoughts on peace. Now it's time for results. On behalf of myself and the entire contest operation team of Division L, we would like to thank our valuable judges for your dedication and skill when it came to the judging of a speech contest for International Day of Peace. Without your generosity, knowledge, and patience, this would not have gone as smoothly as it has. Thank you for volunteering your service despite your busy schedule. I'm very sure all my students have given a hard time to our dear judges. We would like to thank Dr. George, DTM Sadagopan, DTM Oman Thomas, DTM Vijay, Toastmaster Nu, and Madam Toastmaster Saira Oman. So now, dear children, let's go straight away to the results. Before that, dear students, I believe in the saying that sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. So realize that winning is not everything. Whether you win or lose, what mattered the most? That you tried. If you have tried and given your best, you have already won. Your speeches were indeed fabulous, commanding, crafted with sound and strong message for peace. You all are real-time heroes. Congratulations. Now it's the time. Okay, now it's the time to share our the results. Before that, I would request Safel sir to please display the participant list for category 1. The first, in no particular order. So it's KM Sarvesh, certificate Damini Balakrishnan, Abdul Samad, Faiza Ansari, Amia K. Bennett, Kanishka Rajkumar, Rukaya, Kriti Singh, Yashvi, Yusra Feroz, Muhammad Faiz Alam, Nafri Nazar, Nabed Ibrahim, Jesse Ann Biju, Mustansan, Matul, Joanna Elizabeth Jason, Ann Singh, Zara Mirza, Shaizain Sara, Sufyan Uddin, Samia Sara, Humeiza Fatima, Mir Maz Uddin, Siri Mahesh, Steve Joel, sorry, Arhama Rahman, sorry, Komaleshwari Panigrahi, Srishti Senapati, Jayvant Aryan, Sri Girisha, Tara Sri Ram, Sanat Sri Ram, Akshaya Khan, Aisha Khan, sorry, Aisha Khan, Leah Ann, Syed Azhar, Reina Susan, Emil Tom, Shifa Naimullah, Faz Ahmed Sultan, Pankti Trivedi, Amar Abdullah, Asma Abdullah, Kalyani A.R., Savani Patra, Sadhana Devi, Al-Tamash Naim, Ananya Sajilal, Siona Rai, Simra Fatima, Shri Yashi Ghatak, Pia Kumar, Lisa Baviskar, A. Kishore V.R., Rida Fasbin, Aisha Fatima, Charanjit J, Ayan Arfin, Divya Sridhar, Shreya K. Ashokan, Yuvraj Jaiswal, Guru Raj, Rakshanda Fatima, Sahifa Nas, Rahil Kausar, Pradnya Eknath, Ham Shalekha Saji, Shifa Naupal, Firdaus Feroz, Pratham Singh, Fazila Raisa, Nivan Rao, Nia Sara Anup, Avantika Shine, Sumaya Riaz, Muhammad Umair, Moksha and Sam, Kar Mukilal, Khushi Yogesh Patel, Wafika Amwas, Fatima Zahra Khan, Gayatri Ravi, Neha Nizar, I am Akil, Gayatri Deepak, Manushri Agarwal, Tanvi Chauhan. My God, such an overwhelming responses. Amazing. We received many entries for this category. Category 1 for the age group of 5, 6, 7. Now it's time to announce the results. I feel the pulse of the inquisitiveness. Here we go. Yes, peace. Eye for an eye makes the whole world blind by Mahatma Gandhi was the topic, category 1, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Now the third position winner is Mr. Nivan Rao. And here goes his speech.
I wish one day I would wake up to hear the news. There's peace on earth. Whenever we're on the television, smartphones, or read the newspaper, we are bombarded by the negative news of arrests, murders, wars, and other such tragedies. Respected juries and my dear friends, I'm Nivan Rao from 6th Standard, wishing you all a very happy International Peace Day. The world can be a very unfriendly place if everyone follows the principle of an eye to an eye and a tooth for a tooth. An ugly aspect of the human race is the act of revenge. Revenge occurs due to the inability to forgive. We as human beings must develop the virtue of forgiveness. I think this is exactly what Mahatma Gandhi meant when he made the statement, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. No one is perfect. We all make mistakes. We should try to understand people or situations. Revenge is just as bad as the original offense. Forgiveness is such a crucial aspect to love and peace. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. If peace is what we want, we as a worldwide community must absolutely learn to forgive and follow the mantra, live and let live. Thank you.
Wonderful. Now let's go for the second position. The second position winner is Miss Reena Susal Matthew. And here goes the speech.
An eye for an eye can make the whole world blind, said Mahatma Gandhi. Respected judges and my dear friends, a very good morning to one and all. I am Reena Matthew from Class 7, International Indian School, Aljubail. Today, I'm here to talk on the given topic. We should really love each other in peace and harmony. Instead, we're fussing and fighting, and then working in equity. Sang Bob Marley. All of us have a tendency to act tit for tat. A country attacks another and it attacks back. Both of them gradually get involved in war. But have we ever thought of any benefit that we get through this? Is it peace of mind? Is it prosperity? Is it any prize? Or is it restfulness? No, we get nothing out of this. Why do we do it? It's a simple human tendency. To every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, says Newton. But it only applies in physics, not in real life. Let's take the example of Germany in the Second World War. Germany was utterly blamed for the destruction that was caused in the First World War. It was deprived of its military powers too. The world was only recovering from the effect of the First World War. Not very long after, Germany attacked Poland for its revenge. This led to the Second World War. Just think, if Germany was able to forgive, then the world would have been saved from the Second World War. Likewise, Gandhiji here wants to convey the message that the solution for violence is not violence, but peace. Thank you and have a nice day.
Great, wonderful. Now the first position winner. Here we go. Miss Leah Ann Titus. And here goes the speech.
Good morning, respected judges, teachers and friends. I am Leanne Titus, studying in Class 5 in International Indian School, Aljubail. Today I am going to talk on a topic which is very relevant in today's world. We, as partakers of next-gen peace lovers, may wonder as how an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth ever existed as a law of the land. History of mankind is nothing but a chronicle of social changes evolved over centuries. Thank God for the social reformers and world leaders who strived hard to bring us what we are today. Even now, if we look around, we can see that peace is still an illusion. It is here, the famous quote of Mahatma Ji, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, becomes relevant. As a punishment for the guilt of taking or damaging an eye cannot be justified by doing the same guilt to the offender, because one cruelty does not justify another cruelty, but all crimes in its merit shall be God punished as law demands at all times. As a great visionary, Gandhiji in his wisdom has taught us how freedom of a nation was achieved by pure, non-violent means. So on this day of international peace, let's pledge to shun from violence and hatred and join our hands for peace, love and harmony. Let's celebrate this day by spreading compassion, kindness and hope in the face of COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Wonderful. Such a lovely, excellent, stimulating speech. Now we have some consolation prize winners too. The first one is, with no particular order, Ananya Sajila, then Gayatri Ravi, then Divya Sridhar, Gayatri Deepak, Amaya Bennett, Shifa Naufal, Damini Balakrishnan. Congratulations and all the best. Now, congratulations to all the winners and also all the participants who have participated. I guess 80 participants were there. And congratulations to each one of you. Your message were indeed fabulous and very stimulating and thought-provoking. Great job. Now I request charming girl, Miss Chaitanya Sri, 7th grader, to share her thoughts. Chaitanya, are you there?
Madam, we need to unmute her and give her.
Yeah, unmute, Chaitanya, unmute and start your video. Am I going to unmute her or she can unmute herself?
Chaitanya, right?
Right, yeah. Chaitanya. Yeah. Open your video. The floor is yours.
Distinguished Toastmasters and my dear friends, good evening. The topic of peace has always been a focal issue in all periods of history and at all the revolutions among nations. The concern of the humankind for peace can be assessed by taking into account the fact of all religions. The commands of the Holy Scriptures of the Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, and all the other communities hold out a sacred commitment to peace. Peace and harmony helps in protecting the rights of the citizens and leads to a happy society. Today, my fellow friends, speeches were eye-openers for all of us. Dear friends, uncles and aunties, and every individual there should take responsibility of ensuring peace and harmony in society. On this auspicious day, let us once again reflect on the theme of International Day of Peace, shaping peace together. Thank you, and over to you, Shanti ma'am.
Thank you, Chaitanya, for such a wonderful speech, for articulating your thoughts. Now, before moving ahead, we have something to reflect and introspect. Grab a cup of tea and relax. I think something is going wrong, so we'll just go ahead with the other thing and then we'll come back to that. Great, we'll go ahead now with category 2. So moving ahead to the category 2, I once again request Safar sir to display the participant certificates in no particular order. Utkal Lanka, Laiba Athar, Sania Samin, Rinat Fatima, Fatima Sadia, Abdullah Arshad, Arshia Zalil, Zainab Reza, Neha Rose. This is category 3. Actually, we are displaying the certificates of category 3. Bilal Ahmed, Zaveria Mariam, Adiba Azaz. That's great. So now we will go with category 3 and then we'll come to category 2.
Sorry, madam, for the mishap. I was
No
supposed
problem, sir. Sir, it's nothing. Sorry, no problem. We can always change the sequence and go ahead with it. No problem. Yes, let me share for category 3. Here goes for category 3, and the topic was, as long as poverty, industries, and gross inequality persist in our world, none of us can truly rest, by Nelson Mandela. Category 3, 11th and 12th. Let's go with the results. Now the third position winner is Ms. Laiba Athar. And here goes her speech.
For years, humans have fought for better living, basic human rights, and the bare minimum. Yet here we are, in the 21st century, still struggling with poverty, injustice, and inequality, lacking the bare minimum to live. Is this who we are? Our ancestors died trying to teach us the values of life, how to be human. And what do we do as responsible global citizens? Do you think that God created poverty? No, we did, because we do not share. Poverty is the worst kind of violence. It is punishment for a crime that you did not even commit. So who are we to decide who gets to eat, who gets to sleep, who gets the basic necessities to live? We are selfish, unjust, and unfair. Why don't we realize that no amount of artificial reinforcements can offset the natural inequalities of human individuals? Why don't we realize that the world will not be peaceful until we start taking actions for our wrongdoings, for the injustice and inequality, for fair living and for poverty, for basic needs? The worst form of injustice is pretended justice, and this is exactly what's been happening for the past few years, where we are carrying out movements trying to bring a real change, but hasn't. The world requires a change that isn't a want, it's a need, and it's needed now. If you are neutral in situations like these, in situations of injustice, you are in the wrong. So let's bring a change in the world by doing the most we can. And let's not forget that delaying justice is injustice. I am Laiba Raza of class 11th, and I will be the voice of the next generation. Thank you.
Beautiful, amazing. Now the second position winner, Rinat Fatima. Here goes her speech.
Good evening, this is Rinat Fatima, and today I'll be speaking on the topic, as long as poverty and inequality persist, none of us can truly rest. Poverty and inequality are some issues lurking upon humankind for a long while now. In correlation with each other, these can be explained as unequal distribution of resources, which has led to a split in different segments of the society. According to the surveys of 2015, only the richest 85 people own as much as the lower half of the world. Around 150 million people are currently homeless, while 1.6 billion are living in inadequate housing. How has this become our normal? How have we reached to a point where we can just follow along our lives without even batting an eye to the disadvantaged section of our society? A small vendor has a right to a comfortable life just as much as an industrialist. Because who are we truly? What differentiates the rich from the poor? Nothing. Nothing at all. We're all just some skin and bones. We're all the same. As the privileged part of the society, it is our responsibility to fight for those whose wings were cut off before they even had a chance to spread them out. When we abstain from helping the poorer sections of society, we are abstaining from providing them some of the very basic needs. And this way we only create a system with no way out for them. How can we expect them to climb out without any resources? There's no ladder for them to climb out. They're only surrounded by walls from every side. This way the pit only keeps getting larger and pulling in more people every day. And this is why we need to put our immediate attention in the abolishment of poverty, because soon it will just swallow us all, with leaving only a handful of people at the top. I'd like to end by quoting Brian Stevenson: "The opposite of poverty is not wealth. The opposite of poverty is justice." Thank you.
Wonderful. Now let's announce the first position winner for category 3 is Miss Neha Rose. And here goes her speech.
As long as poverty, injustice, and gross inequality persist in our world, none of us can truly rest. These are the powerful words of former President of South Africa, who was an anti-apartheid revolutionary, Nelson Mandela. Respected Toastmasters and all of my dear friends, a very good evening to one and all. How will a person of a different skin color, treated differently but deep down, we're all the same? Why there is millions of people still stuck under poverty? Why can't we just be equal? And what's worse is that these things are still alive in this developed world. Poverty is a condition where a person cannot afford the basic necessities of life: food, clothes, shelter, etc. When we go to school with all the facilities, on the other side there are kids who work under construction, hotels to support their family. There are many types of injustice happening in our world, such as ageism, ableism, transphobia, and discrimination on the basis of color and religion. Many people gave up their life just because they had a different opinion or choice. Let's all stand together and fight together against this injustice happening in the world. The attitude of the world towards each other needs some serious changes. We should all judge a person on the basis of their content, of their character, but not on the basis of their color of their skin. I would like to conclude my speech by saying that let us all resolve to be a better student in the School of Peace, so that our home, our neighborhood, our country, and our world can radiate peace. Wishing you all a very inspiring and meaningful International Day of Peace. Thank you.
Wonderful. Now we have some consolation prize winners. Zainab Raza, Zavedia Mariam. Congratulations and all the best. Great. Now before we move to the second category, we have a very charming, eloquent speaker, Aisha Safir. We would like to hear from her. Aisha, are you there, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Shanti Rekha, ma'am. Peace is the desire of every beating heart. Peace is the hope of every nation, the pulse of every religious tradition, the goal of every prayer. Peace is the bold, courageous, and ultimate response to the belief that violence brings solutions to the conflicts of the world. Peace is the celebration of life itself. Honored dignitaries, distinguished Toastmasters, Madam Toastmasters, and dear friends, good evening and a wonderful International Peace Day to you all. We all are well aware that peace is much more than achieving a world free of war. It entitles a stable and resilient civilization where each and everyone thrives. But peace today faces danger. With nations trying to seize more power, humans trying to seek revenge, and our degrading relation with Mother Earth, we are inching our species to the edge of catastrophe. Dalai Lama rightly said, world peace begins with inner peace. Not a single soul can bring world peace without attaining peace within themselves. Deep within resides a supreme soul of ours, which is eternally at peace. But we fail to discover it due to its heaping accumulation of fear, hatred, greed, and the most dangerous of all, greed and revenge. When someone oppresses you, betrays you, hurts you, we humans rarely resist the urge to retaliate. We seek revenge as a first homage to our distress, because it seems to bring an infinite host of contradictory emotions that eventually traps us in a vicious cycle of hatred. We must fight this urge. We must realize that despite being different, we breathe the same air. We dream to wake up to the news saying, we have achieved world peace. But in order to make it successful, our loyalty must surpass the boundaries of race, tribe, caste, and color. Because world peace is one project that we must do together. Thank you. Back to Shantima.
Wonderful. Really, you all are real ambassadors for peace. And Asu sir's dream is going to come true, that we're going to have peace one day. Now, as I've promised, I'm going to share a beautiful video with all of you. Wait a second. Again, it's giving a problem. Okay, no problem. Now, Safed sir, are you ready for? Wait. Stop sharing. One last chance, otherwise we'll go ahead with that presentation. Okay, no problem. Safed sir, are you ready with the category 2 participants?
Madam, I'm facing problem with the category 2 certificate. So you can go ahead with the, we'll sort it out later. Yeah, please.
Right, no issues at all. Just let me work out my presentation. I have no idea why it is not coming, but still, because it's a beautiful presentation made for my all students. So I don't want to leave it. Fine.
And we are ready to wait.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sometimes it happens. Let me give a try, then we will go ahead with it. Wonderful, it's coming now. Great. Let me see. Yep. So here, this for my students or everyone. that quote. And one fine day, I
Super,
have a
ma'am.
dream. Yeah, thanks a lot. One fine day, I have a dream that one of your names should be there in the list. Maybe 2025 or 20210 for any such contribution. Make it as a profession. Make it as a career, bringing peace to this world. Thank you. Sir, shall we go ahead with category 2?
Yes, madam. But unfortunately, the file is having some problem with the file. So please go ahead with the announcement of results.
Right, sir.
Yeah, we can announce the results. Go ahead with
Yeah.
the results.
Right, I'll do that. I'll do that. Right. For category 2, peace cannot be kept by force. It can be achieved by understanding. That is by Albert Einstein. Category 2, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Here we go with the results. The third position winner is Isha Sridhar. And here goes her speech.
It was a cool Friday morning where me and my family were traveling to Bahrain. It was a visual spectacle to see a flock of birds flying together in a V-shaped pattern. I was surprised to see them flying this way and asked my dad, why are the birds flying in a V-shaped pattern when all of them are capable enough to fly in the same speed as the other? My dad smiled and said, that's an interesting question. And he continued, the bird in the middle will have the maximum wind resistance than the ones on the either sides. Hence, they change their positions to have a long haul without getting tired. Friends, these birds can teach us a very important life lesson. They stay together in harmony, tolerance, acceptance, and total support to maintain a strong relationship, to fight against all the odds of their travel. Tolerance is the main key to maintain a strong relationship and ultimately bring global peace. When there's harmony in the world, there's order in the nation. And when there's order in the nation, there is peace in the whole world. Thank you.
Fantastic. Now the second position winner, Divya Krishna. Here goes her speech.
When the power of love overwhelms the love for power, the world will know peace, said Jimi Hendrix. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to one and all. Peace is not just the absence of conflict, but the prevalence of justice. It is the ability to differ in opinion, culture, religion, ethnicity, ideology, and yet live in harmony. It is about how we act for one another in face of challenges and instability. A threat to peace anywhere is a threat to peace everywhere. The attack on Pearl Harbor and the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki is an evidence of the threat of mutually assured destruction. It is more challenging to say yes to an encounter and no to a conflict. Most of us tend to listen with an eye to contradict what we hear rather than to understand it. For peace to be possible, we must speak the truth with love as well as listen with trust and good intention. Long-lasting peace cannot be imposed from outside. Rather, it is born from within through empathy and dialogue. For peace to prevail,
We must bring hope to the hopeless, opportunity to the underserved, empowerment to the oppressed, and dignity to the disrespected. What shall we do then? We must advocate for peaceful community and take action. Together, we can make peace possible. Thank you.
Great. Now let's go for the first position winner. Master Matthew V. George. Here goes his speech.
Good morning. The 21st century has seen one of humanity's most rapidly developing eras. But amid all these scientific and technological advancements, we have yet to find a true solution for world peace. I am Matthew V. George, and today I stand before you to share my thoughts and feelings about peace in this incredible platform. Science and technology have worked wonders in many fields, but the basic human problems like discrimination, poverty, religious conflicts, and pandemics like the one which you are facing right now still remain. At the same time, we give more priority to advancements in weapons of mass destruction because of the fear that remains among nations. There is unprecedented developments in the information world, yet universal education does not seem to foster goodness, but only create mental restlessness and discontent. Science and technology, these forces, even though capable of creating immeasurable comforts, cannot replace the age-old spiritual and humanitarian values that have shaped this very world. Peace requires us to love one another in mutual tolerance and by submitting our disputes to a just and peaceful world. World peace must be a product of many nations working together, a sum of many acts. It must change to meet the challenge of each new generation, because this world peace is a process. It is a way of solving problems and living in harmony. Take the rainbow, for example. It has many vibrant colors, and together it makes it beautiful. In the same way, our differences in color, caste, and religion makes us a more stronger and more interesting world. So let us not build walls, but build bridges of love and faith, and unite in our common interests. Thank you.
Great. Great, Matthew. Now, consolation prize winners, Susan and George. Then we have Miss Samita Rajashekar, Master Mithil, Hana Mustafa, Master Abu Bakr Siddiqui, Hana Naim, Miss Hani. Congratulations and all the best.
Shanti Madam.
Yes, sir.
I have the certificates. Actually, we missed one to read one certificate for category 1. Shall I show it now?
Perfect. No problem. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Can you read this name?
Right.
We missed to take this name. Actually.
Oh, Akshay Iqbal, category 1.
Yeah.
Great going. Thank you, sir.
Now I have the other ready with me. Can I display the other one as well?
Yes, sir. For category 2?
Yes.
Right, sir.
Here comes. Yes, madam.
Right, sir. Afifa. Great. Then we have Siddhi Sudhir Shendri. Ariba Iqbal. Akshara. Sahir Fatima. Mohammad Saqib. Susan and George. Gisha Sridhar. Mohammad Zuhaib Sheikh. Susan and George. Gisha Sridhar, I think name repeated. Mohammad Zuhaib Sheikh. Zoya Sheikh. Hana Mustafa. Mohammad Taha. Abu Bakr Siddiqui. Sana Naim. Matthew V. George. Gilbert. Ganesh Ravi. Kulsum Raza. Hanin. Girisha Sridhar. Arsia Malik. Divya Krishna. Mohammad Saad. Sahir Fatima. Vraj. Bishwa. Ayan Rashid. Yushra Mansoor. Shamita Rajashekar. Ojaswani Nitnaware, Zoya Zian, Mohammad Zami, Alia Azaz, Mohammad Zayuddin, Arshia Malik, Shayasri Ghatak, Aniket, Hafiza Naseem, Mithil, Saida Maliha, Afrin Shaha. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Dear students, all winners and contestants, thanks a lot, dear students, for your edifying and thought-provoking messages. Your all speeches, literally, I'll tell you, all speeches were fabulous. And it was a great and big time for all the judges to see who is first. Actually, this is only a formality, but you all were winners. Okay, so keep it up. And whatever you have delivered in these speeches, please see to it that you're going to follow in your daily life too. And you're going to build a nation which is peace, only peace, nothing else. So once again, before I sign off, I would like to convey my thanks to Division Head Director Safair sir for giving this opportunity to be the contest chair. Once again, congratulations on your well-deserved success. Stay safe, stay blessed. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shanti Rekha, madam. That was really wonderful. And Toastmasters International not just empowers adults, they empowers youth, youngsters, child as well, empower them to be good leaders and good communicators. So this was our humble effort. And the intention was them to have a look at this topic so that they will know about it. The contest was just an intention or a way to let them know about this topic. So thank you so much. So I'm sure the winners would be wondering whether it's just a hi or just a name by Dr. Shanti Rekha. No, in fact, it's not. You will get your award delivered in the next 2 weeks, and also to those who won the Constellation Award. It may not be the biggest size, but you will be rewarded in person within the next 2 weeks. Inshallah, we are working on it. And the certificates which we shown, maybe there could be some error in their spelling, name spelling, all those things. Please, once you have read it, if you need any corrections, please revert back to us. We will deliver a PDF copy to your mobile number, okay, so that you can print it out. So that's all from my side, and it was really an honor to be the moderator for this event and to be part of it. And I would like to sincerely thank Arasu sir for putting this idea. Now it's time to propose a vote of thanks. May I request our very honorable, the youngest in our crew, Toastmaster Sangeeta, to step forward and propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, DTM Safair. Thank you so much. Showing gratitude is one of the simplest, yet the most powerful things that we can do for each other. A warm good evening to everyone present here. It brings me immense pleasure that Division L, in association with Awal Toastmasters Club, were able to present such a wonderful evening to you all. I always take inspiration from the brilliant performances, and thank you, fellow Toastmasters and dear children, for leading by example. Honestly, I lack words to express my gratitude to all of you. However, in no particular order, I would like to thank DTM Sadagopan, DTM Suresh, Toastmaster Raghupati, Toastmaster Rubab, DTM Dr. George, DTM Arsu, Toastmaster Dr. Shanti Rekha, DTM Safair, all district and division officials, fellow Toastmasters of our fraternity, parents, dear children, and all the guests. In line with today being the International Day of Peace, I believe that peace is a daily, a weekly, a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, and quietly building new structures. It isn't enough to just talk about peace. One must believe it. And it isn't just enough to believe in it. One must work on it. I'm not going to take much of your time, but thank you all once again for your presence tonight. It was a joy seeing all of you all. Good night, and over to you, DTM Safair.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sankita. Thank you so much. So now that brings an end to my responsibility as as Master of Ceremonies, or can say the moderator for the event. So I urge all the youngsters to urge your parents to be part of this forum so that they can together contribute something more in the coming days. So with that, I would like to hand over back to the Honorable President of Allawal Toastmasters Club. And as we know that the Division L Toastmasters Forum is conducting special events using the platform of one of the advanced club in Toastmaster, which is Allawal Toastmasters Club. And I would request distinguished Toastmaster Sadagopan Natarajan to take over and conclude. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. All the best.
Division L Director DTM Safer, really were a great leader. You stand as a model for others. It's a wonderful thing that we have conducted, Division L conducted this program, brought so many students, youth leaders, and they're all very actively participated. Fantastic move. I thank personally DTM Arasu for coming out with this wonderful idea. Very nice idea. And Dr. Santi Rekha, she worked a lot, tirelessly. She worked day and night to make this event a very successful one. And also already our additional PRM has thanked all the speakers. They have done a wonderful job. I mean, I really appreciate them, and very good message to all of us. I'm really very, very happy that Division L is supporting each and every club, and they have taken care of all this arrangement. Just the Allawal Club platform is used. I'm really very thankful for the Division L Director for your magnanimity, giving this opportunity to the Allawal Club. And we have to do a lot for your division. And I really appreciate for you and your entire team for supporting this club. And thank you very much, all the students, for this wonderful participation, and all of you as winners. As rightly said by Dr. Santi Rekha, we are all winners. The participation is most important. We have thousands of students, only very few got the courage to participate in this type of competition, and you are all winners. Please keep it up. Please continue this, and you will be doing a wonderful thing in your future. And as the ambassador of peace, you should continue this, and it has to go. And world should see that a wonderful place to live, all of us to work towards it. With this, any special business to be conducted, DTM Safar or any members who want to discuss anything special? Hearing none, I adjourn this meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Good night.